I gotta tell you folks, today's topic really sucks. Really, no, I mean it really does suck. It's a vacuum pump. So, welcome to Austin Forever Garage. So we're going to see if our vacuum pump is bad. We've been having, it's like they wait for me. They're hiding in the trees, and then when I start, there you go. So we're gonna move on. Hopefully the noise isn't too bad. So, vacuum pump might be bad. So, as we've discussed before, our previous resident has chewed on just about everything in here, and oh, the gang's all here, folks. Everybody. Yeah, everybody's here now. So as I was saying, our previous resident pretty much gnawed on everything he could get his little toofies on, right? Vacuum lines being one of them. So I've gone through before and replaced some of the vacuum lines that were noticeably chewed. But our pump never shuts off, and when you first start the truck up, if you want to use the AC or the heat, obviously the venting direction is vacuum operated. So it takes a few minutes in order for it to build up enough vacuum to be able to change from the vents to the floor to the defroster, right? So we've pretty much gone through everything. I don't think if there is a leak, it's not much of one. So we're going to try our pump, see where that leads us. So the vacuum system really isn't, I don't think, all that complicated on the Super Duty. You've got your pump, you've got your canister, you have your solenoid, and then you have your, a few vacuum lines going to your HVAC. So really not all that complicated, and you have to have a vacuum pump on a Super Duty just because a diesel engine doesn't create vacuum. Power is generated from simply adding more fuel to the cylinder, as opposed to a gasoline engine that uses a throttle body to allow the suction of more air, which creates the vacuum that everything else operates on. So which is why a diesel has to have a vacuum pump to operate those vacuum operated items. So along with the AC controls, the hubs on this particular Super Duty are vacuum operated also. So one of the most notorious vacuum leaks is to the hubs. So like I said, we've gone through those. Doesn't look like there's a leak. I don't know, we'll see. But we're gonna try our pump. So this is our new pump. Went cheap. Didn't get the Ford part. not that vital. Obviously, things like, you know, electrical things, important things, I usually spring for the Motorcraft, Ford parts, or something quality. This, I'm not even entirely sure. This is a fix, so I went cheap. If it turns out to be a bust, I'm not out that much money. If it works better, and then, you know, a few months down the road this one takes a dump, I'll get a good one. But for the sake of what we're doing here, went with the Bezos China version. So we're gonna get this plugged in real quick. Okay, so we've got our vacuum line hooked up to our canister, which in turn distributes it throughout everybody that needs it. So we're going to plug it in and see what happens. So it sounds pretty much like the old one. So once it pulls a vacuum, it should stop. All right, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to time it, because obviously the old one doesn't shut off. So if the new one, in fact, can pull a vacuum, hopefully it will shut off at some point. So we're going to run a timer, see how long that is. I have no idea how long this should take. I had a little change in tone there. Maybe something's happening. Hopefully it's not about to let the smoke out of it. About 2 minutes, 10, 15 seconds. So, you know, we'll see what the other one does. All right, so now we've got our old one hooked back up. We're going to plug it in and see how long it takes not to shut off. So obviously we're not going to wait on Santa Claus for this, you know. Maybe the Easter Bunny, but we'll just humor me here. A little change in tone there, a little bit. So we're well past what the new one took to pull a vacuum. We're still going. We'll give it a little more time and see what happens. so we're coming up on double the time that it took a new one to pull a vacuum. It still hasn't shut off, so we're going to call it, folks. See what I mean? Little teeth marks in the bottom. So, strangely enough, I was able to pull a little Dumaflaches out of it without tearing them. I might play the lottery tonight. Well, this is crazy, folks. Not only was I able to get them pulled out without breaking them, I was able to get them in without breaking them. Huh. This is strange. Yeah, so we're gonna have to remove our bracket to get the little feet sucked down in there. So we're gonna pop this out real quick and get this mounted to it. So folks, our little buddy is the gift that just keeps on giving, right? How many times have we talked about how strategic their little minds are? I mean, so they chewed off the bottom, right? Well, that's what you use to pull the little rubber doodaddy through the hole, right? See, they know that. They know that. So they know at some point somebody's going to have to change the vacuum pump on this truck. So they go through and they're like, you know what? We're going to get them. They're not going to know it until they go to replace it. But he got me. Folks, he got me. It's alright, folks. We got it in there. It wasn't pretty. But we persevered. And we beat the rodent. Can't say that too often, but we beat the rodent. So now we're just gonna get this stuffed off back in here, and we're gonna call it.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Man, I gotta tell you, folks, I don't know what's worse, the rodent or the engineer. Why one of those bolts had to be, once you get the vacuum pump on there, almost impossible to get that bolt in, that one bolt. Why? You know, I mean, expect it from the rodent. It's a rodent. I don't get it. Alright, so we're looking good, folks. Cranked OG73 up. You know, before you turn the AC on, it would blow out the vent until the vacuum built up. It'd take a few minutes. But now, cranked him up, turn the AC on, override the vent. So, definitely an improvement. We'll see how long that pump lasts. So that's going to do it. Got our vacuum pump in. Our vacuum system seems to be working a little better. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.